situation in the game. Hell yeah, we made it. Overcame the obstacles, all the people that was hated. Hard work pays off. Now I'm sitting like a boss. 2020, yeah, we getting money, yeah, we never gonna fall off. Keep on going. Keep on going. Never give up. Keep on going. Keep on going.
Movie 2, they end what was supposed to be the leader.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a 3-movie deal. Instead of revealing like it was a clone or an imperfect clone of, for example, maybe let's say Darth Maul, for example. Let's say that he was the ultimate Sith and Snoke was just a clone. That would have been a good way to end the series.
Yeah.
That would have been a good way to salvage the trilogy after losing the big bad evil guy in movie 2.
Yeah. So, what you into, like villains or heroes? You into like the Avengers and shit?
To be honest with you, it depends on the individual person. Like, for example, there was this creature in DC that was literally created because a company dumped the toxic chemicals on him.
Wow.
I mean, how am I supposed to not feel sorry for the poor thing?
Right.
And then you've got the ones that are unsympathetic.
Mm-hmm. You feel like we're in a zombie apocalypse?
No, not zombie.
A zombie? How would you classify it? How would you classify it?
I'd say the build-up, if not the sparks of a civil war.
Between the North and the South again?
No, not necessarily the North and the South. Between people trying to force ways of life onto other people. Take, for example, gun control.
Yeah.
I can agree in cities that maybe we should use like some underpowered ammo that wouldn't go through a wall, for example. Why? Just because occasionally some nutcase inevitably pops up when you cluster in too many people into an area, why should the people who need a gun to survive be forced to give up their gun?
Yeah.
Have their crops destroyed by hogs, like literally wild boar in areas of Texas, for example.
Yeah.
Then you've got wolves out in Texas. Then you've got literal coyotes.
I want to ask you.
Then you've got rattlesnakes.
Right. Do cops kill white people?
Yes, they do.
Does it get media coverage or what? What do you feel?
There's been a few cases where things were just too messed up, where things were not too next to perfect to use. Like the 12-year-old autistic white kid that, the Hodge twins covered. They got local news coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Just about everything will get local news.
So a cop. So there was a white cop who killed an unarmed white man or white person. Like where it was like a protest.
It was actually 2 black cops, brand new to the force, were not trained well enough.
Yeah.
Apparently the dad did not pull off in time, or pull over in time, or didn't pull over well enough. And being jumpy, when he went to go and stick his hands up, apparently he accidentally knocked the gun and the 12-year-old kid got shot. When the cops thought he had grabbed a gun and started firing.
I'm just kind of asking because everybody has their own perspective, and sometimes we don't look in other people's perspective. So I'm just trying to imagine how surreal that would be, or what would be the reaction if something like that happened. Like, would blacks protest? Would blacks and whites work together and protest? Would this be like a hush hush thing? Why is it hard? Or do you think it's hard to convict uh, a white officer who kills a black male? Is it hard, or is it something that should be? How do you feel?
It should always depend on the incident instead of whether one person involved was one color or one was another.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, why should it matter if, for example, a black officer shot a white officer when the media is literally getting more money and more clicks when it's a white officer shooting a black officer?
Yeah.
Or a white officer shooting a black person.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, there's times when it is justified.
Okay.
And then there are times when it's not.
Okay.
Like, if
So many of
the
these
person
people,
shoots the cop first,
they will make
Yeah.
you sign.
If the
freaking
person
stuff saying
takes a
that you
weapon
cannot talk
from the
about
cop.
anything.
Oh, so you've met other people. You're not at liberty to discuss
yeah, exactly.
everything that went down.
And you
Yeah,
think
there's
that
a lot
they
of
are about
stuff
to use it
that
against
I am
you,
not at
or they
liberty
do
to
use it
discuss.
against you.
We need an exclusive story though, man, for the show.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, damn the statute of limitations. I mean, you already going up under your alias, like you ain't put your name out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, give me one more.
I mean, pure and simple. Too much of this stuff that's going on nowadays, it's happening to everybody.
Yeah.
The media is selling it as murder porn.
Woo.
I mean, let's look at the shooting in Atlanta. They didn't even give the cops a chance to even start an investigation before stating out their own theories.
Right. What was that?
That was where the white guy shot up these women that were running a legitimate massage parlor because none of them would jerk him off.
Is that what went down?
Yeah, that's literally what went down. 2 white women, 6 Asian women were shot. Unfortunately, I have no clue how many were killed, but I'm praying for each and every one of them. Were shot because this person could not get one of them to break the law and give them a hand job. They were legitimate massage.
Wow.
But yet
I thought it had something to do with him saying he was, tired of porn and whatever was going on. I'm thinking they're sex shops. I'm not thinking it's just he's in the shop. I'm thinking this is an area in Georgia where, you could get taken care of or whatever, and he's just caught wind of it. And, I'm not knowing that it's what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When a lot of companies start out, they got to start off in sleazy, scummy areas. If they can survive that, then they can move on to nicer areas.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of music you listening to these days?
To be honest with you, I'm listening to Tom McDonald. I mean, pure and simple, he's trying to get people to basically look at each other's perspectives instead of just listening to our echo chambers.
Okay.
I mean, do you think that a person that only listens to conservatives, for example, this flight suit thing,
Mm-hmm.
the military's talking about doing that for women who are pregnant, who are on limited duty. Fox News is talking about it like they're going to send the women off to war.
Yeah.
And if they are going to send the women off to war, shame on them because of the fact that there's a child growing in them. If they don't want the child, give them a proper abortion, let them heal up, then send them to the battlefield. If they want the kid, let the kid come to full term. Keep them on light limited duty so that the child will be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them at least 3 countries away from any fighting while they're pregnant. But still let them do their job. After they give birth and they're able to get the kid with the father while the mother's off, then let her start her rehabilitation. Let her get fit to serve again. And then send her off to war with the best advantage possible so that she doesn't wind up dying.
What do you think about Elon Musk?
He's a genius. I mean, let's look at the Dragon modules, for example. He was able to do that as a private company.
What is the Dragon module?
It's the SpaceX, that little pod they shoot up.
Okay.
Take the U.S. back to the International Space Station instead of having to go to Russia to do it.
Mm.
And then on top of that, he's working on a program that would give us a proper, sustainable, renewable energy source.
Mm.
The problem is not solar.
Is that Tesla? Is that what Tesla was trying to do before he died?
At that time, Tesla was trying to find a way to make electricity free. And he was doing that by basically grabbing electricity that was bound to become thunderstorms.
Channeling it.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Musk is doing? Isn't that what you just said he's trying to do?
No. What Musk is trying to do is instead of doing a terrestrial solar farm, which is A, wasteful, B, harmful to the environment around it, because all the ground needs the sun, and when you're blocking it off with those mirrors, that can scar the earth beneath it for decades to come when they tear it down. He's putting them up into space and then basically sending them down like they used to do in the 50s, the microwave.
Yeah. He gonna be Zeus.
Basically.
He gonna be Zeus.
No, he wants to go to Mars.
This world a mess.
Yeah, he's just testing all the shit he needs here on
What up, Pastor Troy? We about to move to Mars, y'all. This world a mess. He ain't going without us. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get biblical here for a moment.
You know I love that.
Does it not say in Revelations that God would save 144,000 and leave the rest to fight it out, good versus evil?
Well, I didn't hear that other part, but I heard it was going to be 144,000. But then there also was a number that no man could count. So 144,000 is just something that he set aside for himself. Yeah. There's also supposed to be a group of, which I would assume would be like Gentile races, like races that had got reconciled back to God through Christ's or Yeshua's shedding of the blood. So there is going to be a war. There's going to be a ransom. It's going to get crazy in the end. Some people are going to be set aside. And, you know, some people are going to have to, like you said, maybe fight it out. You know what I mean? Like, you got to prove your loyalty another way. Or we need you in this service. You know what I mean? So that's what made you think of that or say that?
To be honest with you, there was this show that I watched back in the 90s called Babylon 5.
Okay.
Everything that one of these politicians from the left had taken back putting people into unity camps because they might have voted for a president who was offering to fix our busted infrastructure.
Yeah.
The ones who are just hoping, like for example, Flint, Michigan, to be able to get drinking water from their tap instead of getting freaking lead water that they couldn't drink. You know, Jaden Smith donates a whole bunch of bottled water.
Yeah.
He literally created his own brand to be able to donate
Yeah, what up,
to the
Jay?
people of Flint.
Big ups on that, man. Yeah.
I mean, these are the people who voted for Trump. The ones who are hoping that maybe, just maybe, we could just close the border for a few years, fix things, get the people who are here as citizens, get the criminals out, but keep the ones who would be good, decent, hard-working citizens. I mean,
It's disheartening, man.
Yeah,
I feel you. I feel your pain on this. I feel your pain on
I
this.
mean, have you ever seen what a border crossing is like?
Man. Yeah.
With the checkpoint, they basically confirm who you are. If you're coming in as a family, they will separate you long enough to identify each member that's crossing. Make sure who is family, who is not. Make sure that the kid's not being smuggled over. And then try to find the kid the way back to their family.
Yeah.
Whether that's on this side of the border or over in El Salvador,
Okay.
for example, or Mexico, or anywhere Central or South America.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many horrible things that has happened to so many people. In fact, there's so many horrible things that are still going on right now.
So it's hard to believe that. So you saying it's so horrible that white privilege doesn't exist anymore?
No, I'm saying that it was never white privilege, it was rich privilege. Yes, the rich were white because of the fact that the whites were coming over here with guns and trade. They would trade with the natives, and I'm speaking as half Native American. A lot of the trades would be fair. Like, you know how they make jokes about Manhattan was bought for a bead?
Yeah.
Let's try a big ass diamond. They were literally told, look, this is what you're being given. You will be able to trade it off for decades to come, procure yourself land, maintain your way of life.
So it was almost like a mandate or a Magna Carta or a...
No, it was literally just like, for example, let's say I had a house for sale.
Okay.
Let's say I was moving back to California.
All right.
I sold you that land.
Yeah.
That land is your land.
Which land? The land that you're leaving or the land you're going to?
The land that you had literally just bought from me.
Where am I buying it at, though? Am I buying it in California or am I buying it in Ohio?
Let's say Ohio.
Okay, so I'm buying the land that you're leaving behind.
Yeah.
You're going to California. Okay.
I mean, hell, if I'm going back to California, I'm going back there because one of the friends that I had made would take me in, help me get set up. I've got thousands of friends I've made all over this country just traveling around.
Mm-hmm.
I've always got somebody's couch that I can crash on until I can get to work at McDonald's and that worst case scenario until I can get my identification straight.
Yeah. What are you afraid of?
To be honest with you, us being divided. We saw a time when we were one people. And then certain ones who listen to the ignorant ass teachings of their parents before them, saying, don't trust these people, they'll do this. Don't trust these people, they'll do that. We saw multiple generations give up on that stuff on 9/11. We went to Afghanistan united as one people. We fought for vengeance. In 2008, Bush tanked the economy.
Now that sucks.
Yep.
How did it feel?
Everybody suffered except for the ultra rich.
The rich didn't suffer.
Nope, the billionaires and the millionaires.
Who gave them the money? Who was in power at the time?
They literally came along and created it for themselves.
Did Obama have a choice to bail these guys out or not? Or was he under pressure from, you know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone who's offered a bailout has been under pressure from somebody.
Okay, so, because I'm wondering, did he want to do it, or did he have to do it, or did he need to do it? And how do you feel? Do you feel like big business should have been able to survive, or should
yes, big business should have. I mean, they were the only thing that was open during during the shutdown.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were shut down, we had a choice of ordering from Walmart.com, Amazon.com. The only thing that we could go to was the food bank.
Wow. Wow, man. People lost, man. People lost a lot.
Yeah, everyone who did not have like billions of dollars and then started doing it millions, whatever your city's rich elite class would be. Like cities where the economy's tanked, that might be the ones who have hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Exactly. But basically, the more shit the economy, the less money it takes to be considered a local elite.
Okay.
I mean, look at Hollywood, for example. They're literally saying that I should hate you because of the fact that I'm a white person. I don't hate anybody unless they give me a reason to hate them.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody does me dirty, it's on. But if somebody does me decent overall, I'll forgive. Still be friends,
Yeah.
afterwards. But if somebody just does me dirty, just tries to fucking plant a knife in my back.
It's gonna be hell to pay, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Male, female, white, black, transgender, Asian. If you try to harm me, I'm not letting it happen.
So were you for the stand your ground passing in Ohio?
Yes, I mean, pure and simple. You've got a child. Don't you feel that you should have a gun here to protect your child if somebody kicks in that door?
Yeah, I do. I want to be able to protect myself and my kid. Yes.
Everyone.
I have that right though. Without that law, I got that right. We had that right before that law. That law constitutes something else. That's self-defense right there.
Yeah, and here's the messed up thing. We did not have any type of self-defense law. We had laws saying we could have the gun. I'm telling you, until we got stand your ground.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of us could have kicked in the other's door. And just had not been necessarily armed with something that's necessarily worthy of shooting over. But if you don't know how to, for example, fight somebody who's got a knife.
Right.
then you need to make sure that they ain't going to harm you because you've got a child.
Right.
That's why I support everybody having a weapon.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, in Texas, back in 2017, somebody just ran into a convenience store, tried to rob it.
Yeah.
There were 3 customers there. They shot the guy. All 3 of them shot him before he could shoot the person that was the owner of the place.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone involved was white.
Okay.
Don't you think something like that should have been on CNN?
Yeah, I do. It was newsworthy. It was newsworthy, man, for real.
But it's always shit like the crazed shooter to try to pass further and further restrictive gun control. Like Dave Chappelle said, the Second Amendment is there for when they try to stop the First Amendment.
Is it true? Because, I mean, I may be even guilty of this. Have you ever heard about a crime on the news and automatically assume what color that person was?
Yeah, I mean, pure and simple, anytime that you do get somebody that's been, for example, ripping off people with a hedge fund, I automatically assume they're white.
Okay.
I mean, that's usually a white person thing.
That's a white person's thing. Okay.
I mean, pure and simple, these hedge funds are owned by these rich...
So what about this shit in Atlanta? What were you thinking?
It was an unfortunate situation, but unfortunately, first the guy swung on the officer. Then, while they were trying to restrain him...
He swung on the officer and lived to talk about it?
Rayshard Brooks?
Oh, Rayshard Brooks. I'm talking about the shooting of the Asian women. What were you thinking? Were you thinking this has to be a white guy, or did you not know, or you know what I mean?
I mean, I hate to say this, but everybody's been hating on the Asians.
Since COVID, or before then? Or it's just not
Before
talked
then.
about? Is it just not talked about?
It's just not talked about. I mean...
Why do people put their hands on them or come at them in that type of way? I didn't know.
Because they know that these individuals keep their money in their community. Like, for example, you go to Chinatown and let's say you buy some little toy for Leilani.
Yeah.
That like $20 that you threw down for the toy.
Yeah.
That's always going to be there. That's always going to float around the community.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that's been suffering right now is turning to the ones who have the money.
Yeah.
It's just like when the Germans were freaking going Nazi from the Weimar. The Jews were the ones who had the gold. The Jews were the ones that had the money. So Hitler went and hated on them to turn the public against them.
Was it deeper than that, or do you think that's just what it was about? Was there some type of Ashkenaz type thing? Was there some type of like posing conversion, or you just think Hitler was hating? You know what I mean? You got to think deeper sometimes.
Yeah, no, there was always some hate. It's all in what he used to make the public hate. Here you had the Weimar. They were literally, their economy was literally crippled with World War I. All over some Austrian prince that got shot by a Serbian. They were literally taking wheelbarrows full of Deutschmarks, their currency,
Yeah.
to buy one loaf of bread.
Okay.
The dollar had, or the Deutschmark had deflated that far.
Wow.
And then here comes the person saying, these guys have money. They've had money all along. They could have been helping you. But instead, they were working on helping themselves.
Is there money in Ohio?
Yes, there is.
What kind of money? What kind of money? What makes Ohio move, man? Or Columbus, if you don't want to, you know.
To be honest with you, it's the grift anymore.
The who?
The grift.
What is
All
that?
of the dirty politics. Why do you think we don't have a better water? When you drink the tap water, don't you notice that tastes nasty as hell?
Yeah, it's nasty.
Have you ever had to drink it for like 3 or more days and then suddenly get diarrhea?
Shit, yeah. I mean, shit, I grew up in the projects and, you know, my mom, she used to make me go into the bathroom, upstairs bathroom and get her some water. She'd say, let it run for a little bit. And I let it run. That water be ice cold. It was so good back in the day. Now it's disgusting. I don't even drink it. I don't want it even on my skin.
Yep.
I put a filter and you know what I mean? I put a
and
filter on my shower
here's
and
the real
everything.
issue.
So what's going on? What's the grift, man? What are you talking about?
Basically, instead of working on things like that, things that they should be focusing on, things that are actual human rights, they divide us. They make us angry at each other so that we cannot go to them and say, hey, what about our water? Why can't we drink our water? What do you mean money was stolen from it? When was it stolen?
Yeah.
Why did you not report this to us?
Yeah.
Do you have money now to even drop on a down payment for this?
So do you think Ohio has, like, are they covering something up? What is Ohio? Like, what is here?
Look at
Like, we have the defense thing. We have the strong Indian or Native American history, the mounds. Like, how was this place founded, man? How did it come to be?
It started off with moving into areas that natives wouldn't touch. Cincinnati, they flooded all the time. Sullivan, the original spot for Columbus, or not Sullivan,
Franklinton, or what you
yeah,
call it?
Franklinton, historic Franklinton. That was the original spot of Columbus.
Wow, how do you know this? How do you know this information?
Because back in the day, I noticed that there was stuff in the library that was telling real truth instead of what these teachers were trying to tell us in the history books.
People don't read no more, do they?
It's not that they don't read anymore. It's that they focus on the wrong things. Look at Twitter, for example. Twitter's killed political discourse.
Yeah. Trump used to get his thing off on Twitter, man. A lot of people can't get off on Twitter like Trump could, man.
Yep. And look where that got him. I mean,
It
literally.
jammed him up a little bit because he was being childish, man. He was like being petty, man. When he was being informative and assertive, stuff like that, that would have been a good place to put your stuff on.
He was trying to point out too
You can't be on there
things.
trolling and yeah, man.
He was trying to point out too many things, and unfortunately, he was trying to fight a radicalization to the left. Why do you think they've covered primarily when a white officer shoots a black person? I mean, let's take Nashville, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The officer searched her vehicle. He gave her a chance. She did not tell him that there was cocaine in her bag.
Yeah.
Or some type of white powder. He pulled that out. He goes to try to detain her until a female officer could perform an arrest. That's what that police code was. There's a reason why people learn police codes when they're not police. Because the body cam always picks up audio, and it always picks up the radio.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always hear when it's like number something number.
Let's go a little lighter, man, because you know we getting kind of deep. What's your favorite food?
To be honest with you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it tastes good to me, it tastes good to me.
No favorite? Fried chicken, mac, cabbage, pizza.
No, I mean, I've been all over the world. It's like saying, you know, how can I pick? Well, I've had like 18, 20 different cuisines. I mean, you gotta ask me, like, for example, what's your favorite American fast food?
Okay. What is it?
To be honest with you, Arby's.
Arby's, for sure. We got the meats.
Yep.
say
Yeah, you get a
that,
whole lot
say that.
You get the meat. I mean,
Say it like the commercial.
I can't.
We got the meats.
Nah. But like I was saying, you'd get this, you'd put it together.
Yeah.
For like what, $1?
I thought you went to sleep or something, bro.
Sorry, I was trying to think how much it was for one of those little ones.
Shit, they like $1.29, man. For the, you know, I go up to Arby's, man. I get the buffalo sliders and turkey sliders, man. Shout out to Arby's, man. For real, y'all doing y'all's thing, man. We got the meats.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Why you so serious tonight, man? You know what I mean? You trying to get something across, like as far as like a political stance, or that you coming off more serious? I'm trying to loosen you up a little bit.
Be honest
What's
with
on
you,
your mind? What's going on?
I just wish that we could just come together as one people.
Yeah.
That people's trying to show people on both sides, hey, your side's doing this, your side's doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Biden detention center.
So do you feel like I'm playing a race card, or because I'm really just trying to?
No, I mean, these are all just real issues.
Yeah.
I mean, pure and simple.
I want your perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, ever since freaking Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill.
Oh.
I mean, in the speech for the crime bill, he called the black community predators, and then he shortened the freaking timing for the freaking police training.
Do you think his stance on that has changed? Has he educated himself? Do you think that he really genuinely has a caring or concerning mind towards Kamala Harris? Or is that just something to get in office? Like, what do you feel? Can he change? And can Trump, because Trump has been on all sides. I mean, he pardoned Lil Wayne, supposedly. Supposed to have something to do with Kodak Black or a couple people's releases or whatever. So is it about the money? Is it really about color? Is it, you know, can you be racist one day and the next day or not? What is it?
I mean, for some people, for the elderly who's gone through it their entire lives, no, there is no changing. The only way that they're going to make
Biden would be considered elderly. You know what I'm saying? He's about 80.
Yep. I mean, hell, to be honest with you, at this point, I don't even think he's in his right mind anymore.
Wow. You think he's unfit to run this country right now?
Yep. And to be honest with you, I think that Kamala Harris was also unfit. Here's the reason why. She did not even make it past the first primary.
Oh,
Here's the person that I would see being the best president for this time. He is a conservative. He is a conservative black man. He currently leads the Texas GOP. He is a retired Marine. His name is Lieutenant Colonel Allen West.
okay. I'm gonna do some research on him. I'm gonna check him out.
He was a freaking Marine paratrooper before he became a congressman in Florida.
Oh, I forgot to say thank you for your service too, man.
And I mean, at the time, I thought it was what I needed to do.
Yeah,
And then I saw how George Bush treated those who couldn't go back.
yeah. Some Jack Nicholson shit.
Yeah, I mean, like the people who were basically so screwed up and dumped on the streets of all colors.
Yeah.
In fact, fun fact for you. 9 times out of 10, any team that is given a chance and given a little tiny slap on the wrist the first time,
Yeah.
doesn't matter what color they are, they're rich. Do you think Snoop Dogg's kids would get off more than a slap on the wrist if they, for example, wrecked their first car into another car?
Yeah, they get off.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg would probably show up there, sign some CDs,
I mean, he
whip a
gonna
few
pay.
grand in.
I mean, his money good, man. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to question insurance or
that's-
nothing like that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, pure and simple. There are people that are that rich who were able to figure out, hey, instead of letting this person exploit me, I'm going to create my own niche.
Mm.
Look at Jay-Z. Look at Diddy.
Yeah. What do you admire about them?
Literally the fact that they came from nothing, and instead of letting the music industry play them, get them on some drug, and wind up ruining them, they stuck around, they did party songs, they banked their money, and they put their money into other things, like clothing lines, colognes.
What do you think about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion?
To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Cardi B because of one thing. We all know that 12-year-olds are out watching this stuff. It's not the fact that she's doing it. It's the method and distribution that I do not like.
Okay.
A 12-year-old girl could be watching this and be influenced and wind up becoming a hoe because of it. Because they saw Cardi B shaking her ass, rapping about wet ass pussy, and teaching that to little girls.
Yeah, and ain't nobody there to
mean-
like direct them differently.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she could do that and release it in clubs. Clubs would be a good place for that.
Yeah.
But the music videos, do the uplifting stuff. Do your Dear Mama. Speak your voice. Speak your truth.
Who wrote Dear Mama?
Pa.
That's what's this dude know what he talking about, man.
I
Listen
mean,
up.
I saw rap go from this is what we are forced to do to survive. We need to change this. We need to fix this about ourselves. To the rich ass white people who have been in entertainment forever saying, if you're going to produce albums, you've got to put out this stuff. Then all of a sudden, the rap game becomes about slapping hoes, selling drugs, cooking drugs, glorifying it instead of saying this is what we have to do to survive. Please help us end this cycle.
Have you ever seen drugs cooked up?
Yes, I have.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think turning raw marijuana into hash is?
Oh, okay.
It's manufacturing one drug from another.
Yeah, you had me thinking.
Just like in
You had
theory.
me thinking like meth or cocaine or something.
No, although I know some people that I would bet money on had seen that.
That
or
has
done
some
it.
good cook up.
Yep.
Okay.
People of all
So
colors.
if you're a good cook of drugs, what do they call you in the street? What's your nickname?
I don't know.
Is it chef?
I never got
or-
involved with that end. I just made my stuff, sold to the dispensary, made my money, and then they send it out to patients in need, like people who had cancer, people who had certain psychiatric needs that were undergoing clinical trials.
So you were a farmer.
Pretty much.
What'd you grow? Like what strain?
To be honest with you, I mostly grew CBD.
Okay.
I kept a little crop for myself with some THC. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just enough for personal.
Yeah.
As per my prescription.
But I mean, look, man, seriously. It was legal where you were at, so I mean, you don't have to be
It
ashamed.
was legal in the state.
So you can talk about it even in this state. It's not like you're.
Yes.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
here's the issue. There's legality at the state level, and then there's legality at the federal level.
Okay.
At the federal level, I'd get a slap on the wrist for what I did.
You didn't do anything wrong. Because see, you're equating what
By
you did.
federal law, you gotta consider California went against the federal government when they issued medicinal marijuana.
Right.
And they did it again when they switched from medicinal marijuana to just fuck it, it's now legal. Same with Washington. Technically, that is an act of open rebellion.
What is it like? Have you ever been homeless before?
Yeah, I've been homeless plenty of times.
What is it like?
Oh, it sucks depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a bad region, like, for example, if I was stuck in Flint, Michigan,
No, yeah.
I'd be dead.
So what's a bad region?
Let me see. Most of Michigan. Most of a number of places, actually.
What is it like being homeless in California?
It's not as bad as other places. You're usually able to get yourself a little start working for food. Find some hippie that'll maybe put you to work painting.
Yeah. And so where were you at? Were you attracted or seeing hippies in California? Where they usually at?
All over.
I mean, is there a specific
travel.
spot? Is there? I mean, like what city?
Berkeley's big.
Berkeley.
In which, unfortunately, the problem is that they've all been programmed to believe that things that had been hardwired into us from our earliest state of evolution, if that theory is correct.
Do you feel like
If
Boston
God-
George? Do you feel like Boston George? I mean, being a guy who, you know, basically you were white, but you were in like a game where you're running into some big players and some dangerous dudes and shit. So what was your like, how are you able to, I guess, use your coolness card or how did you move around?
I just basically showed who I was right off the rip.
Yeah.
I'd walk around dressed like this.
Okay.
I'd see who just judged me immediately.
Yeah.
Those who judged me, I didn't give a crap about.
That's
Those
a
who actually
badass
talked to
outfit
me-
too, man. That's a badass outfit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I wouldn't fuck with you.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's idiots that decide, hey, I'm bigger, I'm badder.
Yeah.
And it's still hardwired in regardless of race, creed. Unfortunately, we evolved societally as hunters.
Okay.
So we wind up forming our own groups of friends, our own tribes, our own hierarchies.
Mm-hmm.
And we form these based off of competency.
Okay, a group of hunters, what does that mean?
Like back when the woolly mammoths ran around,
Yeah.
we'd follow them around, try to drop one.
So you're talking about like one of your ancestors? Because when were they running around? Like,
They were running around during the Ice Age.
well, yeah, so you're talking about like somebody from back then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Back where, as far as I know, me and you could literally be blood related.
hell yeah. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, I mean, at some point we all started somewhere.
Okay, yeah. Same blood. Same bloodline.
Yep.
Is there other bloodlines? I mean, now they're talking about Nephilims and these beings that co-inhabited on the earth. So is there bloodlines that haven't mixed yet or that wouldn't be connected to that family of life bloodline that, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. I mean, here's the thing. We're all formed from the same earth. We all started off as single celled organisms according to the evolution theory.
Yeah.
So we all grew up. We all grew into a single celled organism. Then we evolved up to higher life, fish, got up onto Earth, became mammals. At first, we were small because something else had evolved to be a lot bigger.
Yeah. So now you're going like Smithsonian level.
Yep.
But what I'm thinking is this. If we all come from the same atom, ATOM or ADAM, why is there so much flip-flop, bipartisanship? Why is there so much contrariness? Why is there so much resistance? If everything comes from this symbolic peace, this symbolic, you know what I mean? Like there had to be some.
Unfortunately, there's extremists on every side.
There had to be some other droplets that got in there, some other data, some other, you know what I mean, DNA.
Yeah, I mean, pure and simple. At some point, like when the first tribe of men split off, became two tribes because one tribe was too big.
Mm-hmm.
One might have followed the woolly mammoth down into what's now Africa, and then as the continent divided, became what we know today, according to the theory.
Yeah.
We got separated. We wound up staying in colder areas, which causes us to be lighter to where we were not discovered by hunting animals that would want to eat us.
Mm.
If we heard growling, we knew to lie down in the snow.
Okay.
Lay dead.
So your skin went into your hunting and camouflage and like a protectant from other animals.
Yep, just like in Africa, melanin became king because the sun there in a lot of areas was scorching.
Yeah.
So when they came into Africa, the tribe that came into Africa, they passed through all that as they went further south.
But they're also finding out that melanin has other properties than just skin complexion. You know what I mean? So those type of things is very you know, it's something to look at over time. But I want to jump. I want to jump here. I want to ask you, uh, what is your fondest memory of Another Chance Housing, and how did you get connected to Another Chance Housing?
To be honest with you, I had hit my low point. The state of Ohio literally lost my identity. I could not get an ID, a new ID. You were willing to, or you and Another Chance were willing to take me on because of the fact that you saw that I was in need. You showed yourself a genuine person. You showed that you were willing to help. You kept me off the streets. I've seen the struggle at every level. I've seen it from the just rich enough to be able to get by in California, where it is extremely freaking expensive, no matter where you go. I mean, how could I have... I mean, I've been homeless, I've been rich-ish. And I've always tried to help out the communities that I was a part of, too. While I was living with you, I did a lot of work for super dirt cheap.
For sure, I appreciate it.
I did it because I knew you wanted to help people. However, I could not do it for free because of the fact that SSI was literally giving me, like, what was it, 600 something, 700 something?
Yeah.
There's supposed to be safety nets for when you got that low. That's less than half of what I make working at McDonald's.
Wow. So you've
Yeah,
gotten off of SSI right now. You're working full time.
Yep.
Paying your own rent, doing your own thing.
Yep.
Wow, man. Success story from Another Chance Housing Program, man. You know, and that validates why I did it. It was a work. It was a work, man. It was bigger than me. It was bigger than, you know what I'm saying, Butch, Tone. It was bigger than anything because we come from that love. And what we chose to do with it, what we chose to become, you know, that's what we'll always have to fight with and wrestle with. But we knew love on all sides. And so what you experienced was genuine, man. Me handing you a plate of food or me giving you a break when you may not have had your money together yet, waiting on you. You know, times we had to call and get stuff, you know, reinstated and stuff. I mean, and now look at you. And, you know, you fought against, I remember when you came, you said, you know, I got hit in the head and I had some head injuries and I'm not as sharp as I used to be when I was running around in California, but I know how to do some electrical. I know how to do some different things. Let's get together. And, you know, so that's why we're here now, man, where we're kind of just debriefing, recapping, and, you know, I see you've grown even now because it's like certain things that I wanted to get into on this interview, just to kind of clown or be funny or whatever. Like you had a different message, you had a different image that you wanted to get across on this format, this platform. And so I noticed that.
Here's the thing. My sole message is don't listen to the extremists. listen to the moderates, because the extremists, doesn't matter what side you are. You could be a leftist and be a fascist just as easily as you can be on the right and be a fascist. Because the axis is not Democrat and Republican, it's X and Y, where X is economic left, economic right. Authoritarian is Y going up, and the libertarian is Y going down. Libertarian is basically where you believe that people should have max amount of freedom.
Yeah.
And out in the country, I'd agree. You're basically out there on your own with, let's say, maybe 50 acres of land.
Yeah.
You're going out there trying to start a life. You've got all kinds of animals out there, depending on where you're at. There's areas of Ohio where you can see mountain lions.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's things that will eat humans out there in the wild.
In Ohio.
Yep.
You don't even have to go to the zoo. You only even got to go to, man, there's some shit in Ohio. So you talking about woolly mammoths, saber-tooths, and 30-foot Indians and natives, and you get hectic out here, man. Because I think Ohio has a lot of like undisclosed wild animal reserves, man, where people who just own acres and acres of land have got these exotic animals, man, without even having to like get a license or let anybody know, and these animals, they get loose, or they kind of find a place to be a pack, and they stay in that area. And if you ever end up in the valley or the Ohio Valley or certain flatlands, you might encounter one of these animals that you thought, wow, I thought this thing only existed here. Ohio's wild like that, man. Well, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Is there anything you want to say to kind of wrap it up? Definitely like to talk to you again, though.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is this: before you protest, have all the information. Before you make claims, have all the information. Because it will make you seem less, it will make you seem less credible when the real one comes.
Now, hold on, G Money. I was supposed to be closing off this interview. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to Black Lives Matters? Who are you talking to when you said, before you protest, know what's going on?
I'm saying that to everybody, left and right.
What's left and right? I mean, when you're talking to regular human beings.
Conservatives, liberals, people in the middle.
If I'm a black person and I'm protesting for what I feel like are my civil rights or police brutality.
Yeah, definitely.
What wing does that put me on is what I'm asking. Or where am I now? An extremist?
No, you are at a moderate if you're wanting to go out and protest. When
Okay.
you're wanting to burn down a federal building,
Okay.
instead of trying to sit down and talk, trying to find a moderate middle ground, trying to find a peace.
Now who burned the federal building? Are you talking about Trump supporters, or these were Black Lives Matter supporters?
Neither. They were Antifa who were using who were using the name Black Lives Matter.
Now, what do you feel about the Capitol being stormed?
That was just as freaking dumb. That was something that likewise never should have happened. It doesn't matter who you are. Extremism should not be allowed. Only when we're sitting at the moderate table, only when we are willing to sit down and talk, find that middle ground that would help the person on SSI by increasing social programs. Like, for example, instead of forcing SSI recipients to compete with single mothers in Section 8, create a section for them.
No doubt.
Have them compete against each other.
No doubt. Thank you for your time, LG Money. We're gonna be checking back in with you.